Hello and welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier, broadcasting from the center of your entertainment galaxy. And we're back with our little limited run Star Trek adventure, Their Fatal Greeting. Uh, for any of you keeping track, this is, I believe, part 3. We haven't formalized a playlist as of this recording, so for those that are just catching this at random, I hope it isn't too much of a strain. In any case, we are back tonight with a good portion of our crew and a very special guest tonight. Aegis's own Colonel Lillian Sharp tonight playing a very special character who we'll introduce here in a moment. But this would be our own Luckless Panda. Welcome,
Hello,
Panda.
hello.
Yes, and otherwise, coming back tonight, we have the normal crew of the Broken Sword. That would be Caligo playing the role of Dennis Mockman.
Hello.
He's here.
Uh, I'm getting Mockman.
Mhm. We have Ray, of course, playing Verse Jenkins, who I believe is momentarily away from the mic, so we'll not disturb them there. We have our own Joe Overland Gamer playing the Vulcan Ensign Takara, and returning tonight we have Cheesy playing the Andorian, I believe, also Ensign Ikio.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So, for all of you joining us in the recording tonight, we hope that you enjoy this. I wanted to start off with a couple shout outs. First, as always, a mention that goes to our resident podcaster from the Overland Gamer, links in the description of the video. And of course, with his own Twitch channel, likewise there, would be our own Joe playing Ensign Takar, of course. And Joe, you were going to remind folks of something very special we have coming up next week.
Yeah, next week we have our Q&A session. It's kind of a end of season wrap up, and we are in need of questions. So hop over to our Discord and ask your questions away. We're going to do a Q&A session. We've done one before where we had a couple of the crew where we talked Star Trek, favorite episodes, stuff like that. But we'd like to get a little bit more listener interactions with questions. So it can be Trek related, could be, game related, either or. And we'll try to provide some Q&A entertainment for you, for everybody that pipes in. So
Certainly, and we definitely invite any questions you might have on the current Star Trek adventures. In particular, this is a bit of a season retrospective, so if there were any moments you wanted to discuss or ask about from season one, then this is definitely the time to do it. That will be held live on the 30th of August. That is dated here in the year 2023 for those of you coming at this much later. Um, but yeah, if you are around to do it, then feel free to ask those questions. If not, then um, well, drop them if you can in the Discord uh, or comments of videos, anything of the sort. You can come on live on twitch.tv/GM and the Great Barrier and do the same. But yeah, we will look forward to answering your questions, talking to you then. After that, September 6th, Broken Sword does come back for season 2, effectively. I think that at this point, I'm willing to just say season 1 of Broken Sword ended with the life and death of Traven Lex. So that's that I think is a sound enough move. Anyway, um, one other shout out to somebody, well, a couple others who have been good friends of the channel. One going out to our good friends over at the Architects of Fate. They actually raided us a little ways back, and they generally have some very fun tabletop adventures throughout the week, including a couple Star Trek adventures. For those of you that have spare time this Friday, their Cookie Trek game is excellent. It's a fun little creative exercise. I'd also give one to one of our general friends of the channel. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I'll edit this one out later, and we'll hold off on that because we might be able to raid them later. So we'll not worry about that. Let's just jump into tonight's game. When last we left off, the crew was facing, well, the crew, quote unquote, such as you can call it that, was facing quite a situation. For what had been a small group of low-ranking officers aboard the USS Ambassador on just absolutely terrible, like a terrible dead shift, had been working on trying to debug the main computer system and try to make sure some of the secondaries were working properly. Uh, amid amid this awful shift, which was really largely just Mannix doing some work, possibly a bit of work from Mockman as well. Um, you were what was the thing? Oh yeah. Oh yes, the ship got hijacked. The USS Ambassador appears to have been taken by an admiral who has decided that the peace of these past 40 years or so between the Federation and the Klingon Empire no longer makes sense, that there can never be true peace between the Empire and the Federation, and it is better to go ahead and launch a preemptive strike. Use of the Ambassador, one of the newest ships in the fleet, is simply the way to give Starfleet a badly needed wake-up call and get them back on a proper war footing. So, obviously, you've been trying to do something about that. Though you are inhibited from accessing most primary systems, shields, weapons, life support, anything that would be able to knock out the Admiral from a remote position. His command codes are simply too well keyed in for the primary systems. You have found that because of the computer bugs, there are actually ways that you can try to manipulate some of the systems to grant yourself additional system access. Basically creating levels of advantages that you can gain in order to reach the Admiral on the bridge. The first of these advantages you decided to gain whilst going through one of the sort of backup recreational systems, in particular the holodeck, where your group in the very last part had been dealing with a kaiju-sized Gorn. It's not the most accurate recreation of a fight between Captain Kirk and the Gorn captain on Cestus 2. Or was that Cestus 3? It was actually neither of them because that was just the colony. The actual place they fought is the world in the Metron Consortium, that the one where Vasquez Rock is, basically. You manage to defeat the Gorn and disengage these systems and gain that initial, secondary system access, which has given you the ability to adjust local environmental conditions. So you won't come under threat of, say, having a deck flooded with gas that would harm you. You wouldn't have risk of, gravity being shut off or something like that. There are still some hazards that inhibit you. Turbo lifts have not been a good idea to this point. You've not gained proper access to the armory or the or anything that would allow you to prevent a lock from a stasis field or transporter beam. It was indeed that last element that really kind of hurt you here, because you attempted to beam off or rather you attempted to get back to the armory under Mannix's leadership for most of the group, but when you attempted that, the Admiral was able to detect that intrusion and managed to lock transporters on you. He meant to beam you to the brig. Instead, you found yourself in a recreation hall, or like rather a bar that's sort of adjacent to it. The bar is kind of built into an alcove. For our purposes, I will put you on this set together. Um, so as the transporter beam resolves, as we pull back in here, Machman and Takara, the two of you beam in and find yourself materializing. This time, however, in the place of Mannix, your Edosian engineer who had he was a pretty strong-willed officer, and to be fair, he was also a lieutenant junior grade, so he was the senior most around. But in any case, he was bent on trying to get into the armory. He does not materialize this time. Instead, in their place, the Andorian Ensign Ikkyo shows up. An Andorian woman, I believe, who is. Uh, let me double check this actually. Uh, Ikkyo was more like, or she's in, like in command outfits, isn't? Or she's in a command outfit, isn't she?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. She's more, I guess, she's a budding young officer of some sort, who claims to have come from certainly a USS Ambassador that she's trying to save from or rather an insane admiral, but it doesn't sound like she's necessarily been yours. It seems as though there's been some weird interdimensional stuff going on. Uh, Officers appearing and disappearing out of existence. So that's where you find yourselves now.
We lost another.
I was this close. Why are you guys here?
We got transported.
Were you trying to get up to the bridge?
After surviving the holodeck, yes.
Ah, makes sense.
That was the logical place for us to go.
Now it looks like we're in some bar. Hmm.
Mr.
Rec hall.
GM, does this bar look like our ship's thing, or does it look like something different than we're not accustomed to?
Well, a quick look around tells you that this is pretty similar enough to what you would recognize as the recreation hall aboard the USS Ambassador. Um, Specifically, that would put you on deck 15 starboard. So you have, at this point, you realize that you are a little off track from where you were, or rather, you're very off track. You were attempting to breach the armory on deck 5 in the saucer section. Now you are down in the ship's secondary hull, where the warp core, the deflectors, all of that would be.
Do we know if there's a cargo bay or another transporter room nearby? Would that probably be a role, I'm assuming?
Oh, just because you come from a different ambassador here, Takara, I will have you. I'll try to have you access like a basic computer within the lounge to see if you can determine the exact nature of what's going on, or try to figure out where you are relative to everything else. So let's call that insight plus engineering for this one, and call this. I'm actually going to say it will be a difficulty 1 task, but I'm going to spend a point of threat to increase your complication range by 1.
Just because of the Gawk Pocket comment before we started. I get it.
Of course.
We start with 0 momentum, right?
Correct.
You.
Okay, so that is going to be 2 successes. So that will definitely be enough for what you need. You're able to access a nearby computer system, and you are able to consult the primary, like the primary deck layout. Um, so from the looks of things, transporter rooms. Let me take the look. And just consulting here. There is a transporter room at least 2 decks up. Um, However, that would be up on deck 13. That would mean a little bit of hauling in the like through the Jeffries tubes again, because you presently lack turbolift access. Uh, there is also the chance that the Admiral may still have control over those particular transporters, so that could pose a problem in any attempt to use them properly. I should clarify and say those are the emergency transporter rooms. So there might be something more to that, but that could still also be affected by the very buggy main computer core right now.
And forgive me if you mentioned this earlier, but did you mention what class the Ambassador was?
It is the first of the Ambassador class vessels.
Gotcha.
So
Sweet.
we're talking like the Enterprise C. For those of you that are unfamiliar here, I might even have the photo up in this. Give me one moment just to locate that. So this would have been you back in space dock, and this is across the board for every player that has been on that has found themselves missing from an ambassador, or rather found themselves aboard a hijacked ambassador.
Well, our options are this. We head towards one of the up a couple of flights of decks through the Jeffries tubes to the transporter, or we could. I'm assuming engineering is down from us.
Engineering would also be on this deck right now. Or this is one of the compartments where, or this is one of the decks where you can access engineering. Let's see here. As you are pondering as you're starting to discuss your next moves here, first just to clarify, well, let's see. When Takara proposes this, Mothman, Ikkyo, thoughts?
Mm,
Can any of you guys handle the transporters? Get them up and running?
no, I'm not little transporters.
I am not either.
We can definitely try if we get there. The only problem is, do we know that those rooms are empty? Or how much adversity we are going to face trying to get to them? If there would be a different, better option for us to do.
As you ponder that for a moment, you feel an uneasy sensation, that of a slight, like, shifting in light patterns all around the room. Then there's a loud sound of some sort of burst and flash, and you realize that the three of you are not alone.
Huh? What?
What the heck?
Can I describe my character?
Go right ahead.
Hang on a moment. You see a thin, tanned woman, lightly tanned woman with reddish golden hair, about 5'9". She wears a TNG first season blue uniform, though has 4 pips on her around her neck, and definitely the kind of pale blue, stone blue, sky blue eyes that look a bit concerning in terms of you really don't want to look in her eyes too long. Human, by the way.
Hello?
She just looks over. Hi. She gives a grin. Good to see there's more crewmen about.
For reference here, Takara, Machman, the two of you are used to the monster maroons, so this uniform is not a familiar one, although Ikkyo does wear a similar style.
Who are you?
She just smiles. Oh, me? I'm Eris. Eris Greystoke. Captain, she says as she kind of feels her neck a little bit. At least I'm pretty sure it's still Captain.
It's Captain.
I'll trust you on this one.
What are you the captain of?
You first.
I'm
She'll
an
take it.
ensign.
Clearly. Ensign. Ensign of.
I can't believe the Ambassador.
Excellent. Though probably not my ambassador. I usually remember my ensigns pretty well, so you don't look like one of mine. She smiles, which is a shame. You seem nice.
You're not the first one to. You're not the first ensign to not be captain person who is not supposed to be on this ambassador.
Yes. I'm not supposed to be here either.
Or him.
So, give me a subrep. And your names, since I gave mine.
I'm Dennis Machman. The ship has been commandeered by an admiral trying to get us killed fighting Klingons.
Fighting Klingons.
I'm ensign.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm ensign Ikkyo Iepe. Currently,
Ikkyo.
we have not been able to access the bridge, and the turbo lifts we've lost access to those also.
I see. Nice to meet you, Ikkyo.
I am Takara, ensign on board our ship. security officer of all career paths.
I see. We have a lot of young officers. Out of character, I should mention, she looks like in her mid-20s. She is, if she's a captain, she is pretty darn young.
Base technology.
Well then, what exactly were you working on at the moment? Because certainly I'm the one who jumped in on this, or jumped in on your progress than anything else. I was also trying to stop an admiral, Admiral McCoy.
I think we all have different admirals we were trying to stop.
It seems like it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, what were you, or the next steps for the lot of you young fine officers?
Our friend suggested either engineering or going to the nearby transporters. Ma'am.
Stands a little straighter. Seems like both are good ideas. Certainly, we can work on transporters, though messing up on that might be a more finalizing sort of mistake than simply going to engineering. But I'm a solid officer, as are all Greystoke, the Greystoke family. So feel free to give me your ideas and suggestions.
With my computer looking over the schematics of the ship earlier, would I have been able to tell if there's an armory on this deck?
Do we lose Zach? Zach, come back.
Sorry about that. Audio. I missed the question there. What was the ask?
If with my computer use scan or computer looking at the floor plans earlier, if I would have been able to tell if this deck had an armory or some kind of a minor armory.
Fully equipped, there might have been some backup stations. Most of those weren't coming in until next Tuesday, though. At least on your Ambassador. The main armory is properly, at least somewhat, stocked in preparation to the shakedown voyage, and that's something that all of you would have an understanding.
If we go to engineering, we can make sure that the ship doesn't go anywhere. In certain cases, I have seen where smarter people than I have been able to reroute command from the bridge down to engineering. Maybe you folks might have a lot better luck at that than I. Of course, Vulcans don't always believe in luck, but I know other species do, and I respect that.
As Jakar is making his proposal there, the door opens to the. Let's see, actually. Yeah, just to see if you pick up on this first. Eris, security and insight difficulty 1, please.
Security and insight. I can't believe I just closed the character sheet that I just freaking made. Security, insight, and security. This is gonna be fun.
A
No.
rare moment where you don't entirely pick up on what's going on. Um, Maybe not so rare. In any case, at this point, some of you looking in the proper direction would notice that one Mr. Jenkins has just entered the recreational area. Give us a quick reminder, Ray. What is Jenkins? How does Jenkins appear?
Jenkins is first and foremost a slut. And that is the vibe he gives off, no matter where he's at. But also, he's very physically augmented with a variety of cybernetics. And is kind of surprised that he's in this bar. Oh, seem to have taken a wrong turn somewhere. Ooh, new girl. And he struts over to fucking Eris. I already forgot her name. Well, it seems like I'm not the only one with ocular implants, and he flashes his eyes at her.
She just grins back, a very toothy, wide grin. Well, certainly you have some. They're quite lovely. Put them in yourself, or
Sorry. You cut out. All I heard was robot noises.
she says, well, certainly you have eyes, indeed. Do you put them in yourself?
Well,
Okay.
I don't mean to brag, but no, not at all.
Oh, that's a shame. She pouts. You're a lot less interesting then. She sighs, looks away. Anyway. So, we're heading off to engineering then? Not going to give the once over with the transporters? Probably a better idea. Am I cutting out frequently?
I'm hearing you pretty good.
Yep.
Okay.
I just now you're coming across pretty good, but every time you started talking to me, it would just noises.
Ah, that sucks. I'll see what I
It's
can
the
do.
audio implants.
Yeah.
Clearly,
But yeah. She just like she pouted and said, "Oh well, that's unfortunate. You're a lot less interesting then," and just looked back over to the rest of the crew.
I need you to understand. Jenkins puts his hand to his chest and just looks like he was punched in the throat.
So,
Do you need medical attention?
Maybe. I don't know.
Does anyone need medical attention? I kind of broaden open the comment away from Jenkins.
After we
I'm
get through
doing just
this,
fine.
therapy.
Aw. I'm sure we can find a counselor for you. Mr. Looking over at Jenkins.
You say looking it over at
Oh,
Jensen?
Mr. Uninteresting, I guess. I guess that's what we're going with. He's now pouting.
Oh. All right. Just goes back to ignoring you again.
It's like, no, but I was asking for your rank there, Mr. Uninteresting.
That's cheap uninteresting to you.
Enlisted. Makes a lot more sense now.
Does chief mean something different here? Like he asked the group on the whole, knowing full goddamn well it doesn't.
It really depends on which culture you're referring to.
Let's get back to focusing, shall we? So, engineering, transporters.
I agree with with his statement. I think engineering is going to be top priority. We do need to stop the ship before it becomes even more of a problem than it already is.
Then engineering we go.
All right.
Ah.
The should say that at this point, Greystoke, if these people are able to actually breach a critical system like that, it sounds as though they are much further along than any of your groups had made it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Make it so, she says in the clear, hopefully clear command fashion.
All right. So, the 5 of you head out from the recreational area and start making your way a bit further interior to the command deck, as it were. And let's see here. So let's put all of you in the corridor. You round your way over to the areas where you would expect the like doors to engineering would be, and you indeed see that they are several meters down. Let me ask, what would be the order in which you are advancing?
I take up the rear.
Good. Who would be out front?
I would.
Okay. Then, in that case, Ikeo.
Honest.
Yep. The 5 of you are going along. You are taking point, hoping to make it to the doors and secure the way to engineering first, and you promptly trip into a force field, knocking yourself back.
Hey! Oh, my nose. Oh, my 10-eye.
You okay?
Yeah. I've ran into a lot of force fields in my life.
Well, you shouldn't do that. She
Never,
smiles.
never gets any better. Can somebody turn this off?
Can I roll a medicine check to make sure they didn't break the nose?
I'll ask for an insight and medicine roll.
Question.
Yes.
Can I assist with command?
Are you trying to encourage them by either giving them a motivational speech or perhaps giving an encouraging yet pouting look as you feel that your nose is injured? Or maybe it's a
Pouting
pain.
look, for sure.
Okay. Presence in command with a single D20 to assist. Three successes on the board, so that will give you 2 points of momentum on that task, as well as the knowledge that she has not broken her nose. Who would like to be our designated momentum officer?
Me.
Yes, more pips for what's their face?
Harris. Yep.
Yes. Let's see here. Anyway. Yep, so yeah, with that, somebody was asking about trying to disable the force field.
I will look around, and it's like every other ambassador class, right?
Everyone that you've encountered thus far, yes.
Cool. I'm going to back up and pull out a knife, or rather, sorry, a scalpel, and just sort of push the command override while also stabbing into where I know that it's part of its processes are, to try to basically rig it and override it.
Okay. I'm going to say that in an effort to access this particular security override, it will be let's call this daring plus security, difficulty 4, and I'm spending 3
Can
grit
I
to increase
argue
your
daring and
complication.
engineering?
I'd accept that instead.
Cool. I'm gonna do bold engineering, so you get a
Threat back.
threat back.
Very good.
Jury rigging or computers.
I think jury rigging is closer to the mark.
All right.
Yep.
And then yeah. All right, here we go.
And that is 4 successes right there. So you are able to pop through and open up the command override circuit through the deck panel without activating any immediate countermeasure. You see that there does appear to be the necessary components in place you would need to damage in order to shut off the force field. However, it is encased by a very similar sort of security system or mesh as to what you would have expected in that particular case.
Yeah. All right, I'll just use the knife to work off the mesh and override it.
Copy that. I'll let you embark on that as just part of the task here. Are any of the others doing anything right at this moment?
Rubbing my nose.
Fair enough. Okay. Once the force field comes down, and you manage to short that out, singeing what all of you would recognize is a medical grade scalpel, not the usual captain's kit to be sure. There is a beep from the intercom line. Trying to access engineering then. Thought I'd had all of you sent to the brig. Not on my watch today.
Hello, Admiral. This is Captain Eris Greystoke. I would like you politely to stop what you're doing.
Who the
Be
hell?
nice.
Who?
Eris Greystoke, Captain of the Greystoke family. Lots of good, solid captains for like 200 years.
I know who the Greystoke family are. They're as renowned as any in Starfleet's history, and indeed the example we need at this moment. I've never heard of any damned heiress Greystoke, and I don't recognize your ship, or rather your command.
Well, you're on my ship, so that'd be unfortunate because I would have to kick you off of it.
Now that's definitely not possible. I know who Starfleet had in terms of this, and the only Greystoke I know still in service. Let's just say that one's not going places anywhere fast.
Ah, that's unfortunate. Well, why don't you find a seat and we will have a more personal discussion. And as she says that, the scalpel just disappears from her hand.
Yep. So you are met by a few moments of silence as the ambassador says, I think that I'd much rather wait to hold any conversation until our glorious mission is taken care of. In the meantime, you can cool your heels in the brig, Captain. You can feel the air quotes wrapping around as he tries to use his command override, and he's going to try and sight to sight on you personally, Greystoke.
I'm going to counter that with a immediate scalpel toss to the EPS conduit here. That I know will link to having some minor hiccups because that would force them. Basically, I want to create a small overload.
Are you trying
Pause
to
it.
are you trying to purchase an advantage, or
Yeah,
are you trying?
sure.
Okay, so you may direct the momentum to do exactly that. I'll say
I
that
got two. I got two from the last thing, right? So
yes.
yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I had already started to roll, so would you prefer that the Admiral try to re-roll at an increased complication range, or would you prefer... well, really, I feel like that either way I should probably re-roll since the task is already partly in progress. Would you prefer to increase the complication range, or to basically increase the difficulty?
What's the difficulty right now?
Difficulty on this task would be 3.
Yeah, let's increase difficulty to 4.
All right. So I'll give them another go at that roll there just to, since this was being done retroactively. Let's see here.
Ooh.
Oh, that is a natural 20 with 2 successes. Let us see what the ambassador can contribute to this. Let's see. Structure plus engineering. Oh, that is not supposed to be 2 on that roll. Let me try to roll that properly this time. Well, that's at least something, I suppose. It is not quite successful enough with only a single point of success there. And yeah, with that, you are going to feel the annular confinement jacketing try to seize hold of you, but the the transport is going to short out a bit as the complication takes effect. Um, the admiral is instead going to say, "Trying to busting up my ship, are you? Well,
My ship, which I know quite clearly that you don't. And I've already been to the brig once today. I'd rather not have it again. But thank you. Would you like some tea when I arrive? I'm preference of Earl Grey.
oh." The line will close, and with that, the jacketing doesn't quite let you go as cleanly as the transporter field begins to dissipate, um, and you find yourself like steadily freed. Uh, you notice, however, that all of you see just ahead of you, along every bit of bulkhead, force fields begin to flit on. It will be very slow going in this time, during which the Admiral will very likely try to get a transporter lock on you once more. The way to engineering is going to be a difficult one, and honestly, more difficult than you were expecting, given the level of access that the crew should have in order to advance thus far.
That's a pickle. Oh well, let's go. Let's go use a turbo lift, shall we?
Are there any bulkheads we could crawl through to get to engineering?
We could use the turbo lift.
Wasn't there something wrong with the turbo lift?
Didn't have access.
Has that changed?
Not as far as
I'm
you
the
know. Or not as far as Jenkins and the rest of you would know.
Hmm.
Well, off to the turbo lift then. She just turns around and starts just striding her way toward the nearest turbo lift.
I don't trust her. Does anyone else trust her?
Yeah.
I don't know what to think
No
of
one else
anything.
caught the brig comment. The brig comment. No one caught that. What about the scalpel? She just has one of those.
It kind of makes sense. I mean, she was probably brought to the brig by the Admiral on her reality. And when you do that, you
Alright.
can't go to the armory, so you find the nearest weapon, which technically could have been a scalpel.
As you
He pinches
humans
the
are
bridge of
so
his
fond
nose.
of saying,
I hate that you're able to rationalize that. Sorry. Go ahead.
as you humans are sometimes fond of saying, maybe she's simply trying to cut the tension.
Ha, I
Yeah.
get
I
it.
remember why I don't like you now.
You're a voice down the road of like, ha, I got it. Funny.
Awful.
Question out of character.
Yes.
Where exactly
Yes.
would neural interface work? Does it only work on certain parts of the ship?
In principle, you could, so long as you find like a computer tap, then you could probably use that. Unless, I can't remember. Was it something more where you envisioned it as like a mechanical interface that like connects into some module? Because if that's the case, then you pull away the right computer panel and you should be able to do that. Uh,
Yeah, I do believe it was part of his body that I don't know. I think it's in his face.
Yep.
Oh, no. I made that something else. Never mind. What was it though? Do you remember what I made his you know, his thing?
Oh, jeez. I'd have
Oh
to,
my god.
Unit?
Oh.
Yeah, his unit.
I don't know if we're talking about the neural interface anymore.
Oh.
No, I mean head to head, but no, that's not what I'm talking about.
God damn
No, I thought it was. I thought we made it a jammer of some kind. I don't actually remember what we did with that.
I'm going back to look for that right now because I'm trying to see whether we put where we put this into text here. I'm fairly. Oh, jeez, where the hell is the thing? Okay.
The joy.
Okay. Let's see. All right. It looks like the specific talk that we had that it sounded like there were actually a few sort of augments that allowed for some light jammers, trackers, or scanning or like scramblers of different sorts that you wanted. Basically, something making it easier for you to track some things and otherwise to, in order to make it a little harder for you to be seen, basically. Um, so far as the specific bodily
Okay.
replacements that we had in mind from the organics, I don't see the notes that we had on that. So I'll
Damn.
leave it to your judgment, imagination here within reason. Um, let's see.
I'm just gonna stick to that being a scrambler of some kind. But yeah, for the I just was looking at what talents he had, and he had neural interface. So I was curious if that was possible to try and get the force fields down with that.
Um, if you want to try and access the system, then I'll let you get a start to try and figure that out. So I'd call that reason and engineering. And I'll call the difficulty on this one I'll call it a difficulty of 1 for you. Also, just to say, whomever decided to subscribe to this specifically, that is a brave, bold statement that you are making, and I appreciate you all the same. Thank you for your support.
Finally, someone loves you.
Finally.
It's me, but you know.
Nice. Anyway, with 3 successes, that's the 2 momentum that earns you back 2 momentum, which conveniently Greystoke did not drop.
Oh,
So
sorry.
no, keep it. She earned it
All right.
back. In this
Cool.
case, Jenkins earned it back. So as you connect to the system, you try to gently probe. God damn it.
Continue.
The computer networks. You find that this newfangled LCARS encryption, the computer system, at least as far as the primary systems go, it's pretty well locked down. It gives you the sense that not only will you probably not be able to disengage these force fields, but every attempt to do so is very likely going to trip up, or rather trip security systems on the Admiral's end, and that he probably has other means that he will be able to use to incapacitate your crew over time. With the access codes that you've required already, taking advantage of basically, you know that while the primary systems are functioning okay, some of these secondary systems are causing problems, or like they are bugged as all get out. That's been consistent for every Ambassador class vessel that everybody has come from to this point. And that was kind of the scheme that, starting out, each of you in your separate groups, and now having come together here, have worked out, is basically trying to play for bugs in terms of the secondary systems that would allow you to get around some of these lockouts. I think that with the success here, I could give you some insights if you want to spend a point of momentum to obtain information.
Yeah, let's do that. Is that good with everybody?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, Greystoke, go ahead and drop a point.
All right, let's do that.
You actually begin seeing some of the connective tissue in terms of some ways that you could use these access codes. It occurs to you that with the right set, you could sort of bypass different levels and create unique advantages. With the current codes you have, you've been able to use those to basically instill some very basic protections against localized environmental hazards. So while you're on your deck with the tricorders that have those codes, you will not be affected by any adverse environmental condition. The gravity won't be shut off, no flooding of adverse atmosphere, or indeed pumping out the oxygen. You think that with at least one additional set, you could probably bypass the lockouts on the turbolift, so you could actually safely gain localized control to a turbolift system. Past that, you think that with each successive level, you could open up some of the efforts to, say, disengage the rather, to be able to gain access to some of the sensitive areas, possibly the armory or maybe even engineering. You might also, you imagine with a 5th piece, you could, or rather with higher levels, you could create protections that would scramble the transporters or stasis fields the Admiral might be able to bring to bear to you, and at a hypothetical 5th level, let's say, you might even be able to bypass the security lockouts completely and then either try to go to engineering, take control from there, or just attempt to storm the bridge and take out the Admiral. So,
Oh, okay.
yep.
All right.
Your captain has already
I guess
left.
we're gonna go to
the.
Pardon, say it again. I didn't hear you.
Your captain's already left for the turbolift.
Captain, quote
Unfortunately, I'm having to follow the captain. and I impart this to the other crew members on the way.
Yep. It does occur to you, Jenkins, that you came from one particular ambassador. It might be a good idea to check your codes against theirs just to make sure that, multiversal complications being what they are, that they don't have incompatible codes, or that you don't, for that matter.
Okay, do I spend momentum to do that?
No, I'd just allow you the, well, I'd say bring it up in character first, of course, just to make sure nobody objects, and then maybe just one more insight in engineering, or actually, no, more reason in engineering to resolve that.
Okay,
It'll be another difficulty one.
reason in engineering. And I yell basically at Greystoke. How do you know your access codes are the same access code you need?
Because I'm the captain, silly.
Very much not the captain here, buddy.
I am sure we can see right now as I am right here. I'm gonna just pull out the pad. And I'm just going to look at security stuff here, Zach, see if it works.
Performance anxiety.
Let's see.
Has anybody followed her at all? Or are we just shouting down the hallway?
I mean, I'm shouting down the hallway. I don't know about them.
Yeah. What are the rest of you doing when the this Captain Greystoke has gone towards the turbo lift, which to this point none of you were able to access safely anyway. Jenkins has been staying by a nearby panel to access the computer network. What were the rest of you doing?
I'm kind of just standing in the middle of the hallway, waiting for any information to run somewhere.
Yeah, just keeping watch on for any trouble down the halls.
What about you, Dennis?
Oh, being pathetic, as always.
Gotcha.
Oh, you sopping wet rag.
The children.
Waiting for the third gas attack to arrive.
Zach, I sent you a message very briefly.
Yep. So what I'm getting is the children. The children were trying to figure things out while mom and dad wanted to do two different things, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a high enough rank for this.
I hope Dad wins the custody case.
Does she come back down to get the others moving?
Yep, she'll just come back, still holding the pad, and say, "Come on, let's go, chop chop."
Everybody,
give
me an insight and security roll, difficulty 2, please.
Everybody else?
Everyone.
Everybody but you, Eris.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Where's my thing?
While Jenkins is trying to disengage and the other two are a little deer in the headlights, Takara, you can't help but notice that there is dried blood of some sort on the pad. Eris, is it like all just red, or is it multicolored?
It's a little multicolored, and some of it's still in the the syrup phase. Some of it.
Okay, so some reds, some blues, some greens, maybe some purple.
Sure.
Yes, Takara, you're the one person to notice that the pad that Greystoke is looking at that is purportedly carries some security information is itself stained with blood.
Can I tell what color the blood is?
There appear to be hues that would conform pretty much across the spectrum of different Federation species, certainly including Vulcans, Andorians, definitely humans, probably other types of humanoids on there. At least nothing that appears to be like outright acidic on there, or that would pose.
No, because that would ruin the pad. Now we have to get a new pad. Come on.
Yep.
Your pad there seems to have seen some action.
Just look down the pad. Oh, yes. Unfortunately, the admiral I had to deal with, it was quite violent. So, unfortunately, the information is on something that is quite disturbing, she says, gesturing. But you gotta make do with what you can.
So, was that used as a weapon?
I don't see how that's any pertinent to this current situation, she says, giving me like a blink. Possibly?
Jenkins slowly approaches the people in the middle and starts pulling them back by the back of their clothes away from her.
Really? Come on. Why would I?
It's subtle. You can't see that shit.
How can I not see the VP like moving everybody behind you?
It's just pulling back back
No.
Ikio and Dennis whilst you are conversing with Takara.
Ah, okay. But I was about to check the securities. Certainly we should all collate about whether or not our security measures are similar. Unless we wish to wait here until the Admiral takes us all to brig again.
True.
I think that's just a you problem.
You really don't think he's just going to transport me once he has it, localized, do you?
No. I think he'll transport all of us. I just think the end of that sentence is a you problem. We haven't been to the brig.
You're not missing much.
Maybe we could.
I'd say by the look in your eye, you're missing a lot.
And for you, not missing much.
Are we comparing ocular implant technology again?
Apparently.
No, just levels of crazy.
Yep. Dennis, Ikio, you just feel daggers being stared over your shoulder from Jenkins and like right back from Greystoke. At least maybe a little more casual from Eris, though. But
Does Greystoke have any blood on the uniform?
No. Not until she pulled out the pad from a pocket, because these things have to have pockets. I don't know how else they carry these things.
Is the pad covered in blood? Like completely?
Yes. Yeah. So like from the pocket now there is blood, but she seems to be mostly clean otherwise.
She didn't do it. The pad's completely covered in blood. The only way it could be completely covered in blood like that would be a savage beating, and that savage beating would have gotten the blood on their clothes. And if she would have taken her clothes off and changed them, she would have known to clean the pad.
See? Nothing to worry about. And as captain, I think you shouldn't worry about it. I order as such. So, let's go to the turbolift.
How many turbo lifts are there?
Oh, there's like dozens throughout the ship.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a different one. I don't trust this one.
Okay. Before you split the party, do you want to check against your access codes first?
I do. I just don't want to do it in front of her. So if her back's turned, yes, I will check my access codes.
Well, she'll need to elect to transmit, or maybe you would reciprocate the everybody would need to basically reciprocate the mission at a very short range, so you can check the codes against it after that, but you would need to all agree that everybody is sharing their codes, basically, while you're together still. So the question becomes, do all of you trust do all of you accept the transmission from each other, or like between your tricorders?
Yeah.
I'll wait till everybody else okays first.
I'll do with Jenkins.
I trust everybody here.
Trustworthy.
I really don't. I really don't want to share that shit with her. Okay. Yeah, fine. I'll do it, but I'm not happy about it.
We're
Yeah.
sort of in a rush.
Yeah, I know. That's why we're doing this. What was it reason and engineering or security?
Reason and engineering.
Can I do the same?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, and a difficulty one for you there, Ray. Jenkins, well, let's see. I'll say for your part first, Greystoke, you can't discern. You're not great with this bit of jumble of code you're trying to figure out here. Or you might be a little more distracted by this upstart here. But for your part, Jenkins, you can actually discern that for the most part, you are at least comforted in knowing that the codes actually appear to share like common security access, and like they're all compatible. So it seems that despite the multiversal combinations that could be here, everybody present has command codes that are compatible with this ambassador. The problem is most of you only have the coding that was gained in the holodeck upstairs. That allows you basically to screen from environmental hazards and retain that sort of local control. The exception to that would actually be Greystoke, who does have turbolift access.
Damn it.
So all of you have now actually gained the advantage of localized turbolift access. You may use the turbolifts freely in order to do this. I will give you one other thing, Jenkins, that I realize I ought to have said. While primary systems like the engineering section are still possibly locked off, or like that will take higher levels of encryption, you do think that some of the secondary systems would be accessible through the some of like the backup or lesser used systems. So anything from maybe like something from a science lab, you might be able to find like a computer node in a cargo or like in a cargo bay, something like that. You could even conceivably find some way to access some of this error coding that you can turn to your advantage back in the rec hall that you where you found everybody else.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go back to the rec hall and then I'll go do a turbo lift if I need to.
Okay. Do you bother explaining yourself to everyone as the captain still insists on going to the turbo
At this
lift?
point, no, I think they've drank enough Kool-Aid. I'm not gonna keep trying.
Okay. So,
If they get bludgeoned to death by a pad, that's up on them at this point. Like, I'm too old for this goddamn shit. I'm like 45.
yep. So Chief Jenkins strolls on past you, Captain, heading the opposite way from the turbolift, seemingly back the way that you had initially come, at least once you joined this group.
Well, Officer Corps, follow me. And I just follow Jenkins.
Captain, should I go with him to make sure that he doesn't get in trouble or hurt?
Certainly. I like your gumption. Go on ahead. I'm right behind you.
We can stay in touch with communicators, right?
she'll just tap and in that sort of like Star Trek fashion of like, for some reason you can easily communicate, switch over communications in such manners. Does it work? Do I hear a tap from the ensign?
Let's see. I believe that Ikkyo at least has. I think we're in an era where actually everybody, while those in the those that definitely came from this ambassador have the classic movie look of the monster maroons, the red uniforms from like the Wrath of Khan onwards. All of you have comm badges in the main badge, so that should work.
Cool.
Uh,
So twig, and then followed by a twig on your direction, and she gives a thumbs up. You're good to go.
All right. See you on the other side, Captain. See you later, guys. Wait for me.
Now, wait, correct me if I'm wrong. Captain, did you just say that you were going to follow Jenkins?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're just following. She's just like, let me go on ahead. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yep. So you.
Wait. Okay.
I
Yep.
thought you were.
So yeah. Uh, the Jenkins walks by, just trying to get away from this nonsense. Greystoke is set to follow and ordering the officers along, and is passed, at least initially, by the chipper, effervescent Ensign Ikkyo. Mockman, Takara, are you bent on bringing up the rear, or anything else you'd do?
No. I'm gonna motion them to go forward. Come on, you lead in the best place behind.
Can I roll some kind of a stealth thing to hang back to not be noticed that I'm following forward? Obviously, it'll be a disadvantage to everybody, but
Just to clarify, are you trying to be surreptitious about following everyone else from behind, and does that include Jenkins or not Jenkins, but Eris that you were trying to get behind?
yes.
Okay, I will allow that. It will be, I think, a fitness plus daring roll, and anyone who wants to try and keep a lookout, that's going to be against insight plus security.
Oh, all right. Let's see if it works.
Yeah.
Dennis, swapping.
You said fitness and security?
I did.
Okay.
And please say again there, Caligo.
Dennis would absolutely look out because he is a pathetic little wheel who is terrified of everything now.
Does stealth count as a focus for perceiving stealth?
I don't like it entirely, but I guess you could make the argument for it.
Oh.
Takara, your attempts to blend into the bulkheads are unsuccessful, and Dennis and Eris both pay you mind. I imagine Eris giving you the prompting to go ahead.
Come on, don't slouch, Takara.
Vulcans do not slouch.
Then what do you call clinging on to the wall like that? Come on. Off with you, Ensign.
I was merely trying to maintain composure as we venture forth in case anything unexpected comes our way.
Well, don't you worry. Your captain got your back. She gives a wink and a smile.
That is what I'm afraid of.
That's adorable. Come on.
Just that effortless eyebrow raise. Joe, you bring to mind the like what Tim Russ would say in that circumstance, or his Tuvok. I could just picture that in my mind's eye Perfect.
I've been watching a lot of Voyager, so yeah, I'm pulling in a lot of Tuvok.
Very good. All right. So, uh, all of you follow Jenkins, who is it back to the wreck area?
It is. I would like to ask, how aware of Jenkins? I mean, of the captain. How aware of her is he? Like, can he hear her talking as they're walking?
Um,
I'm not trying to
How
be
far away
polite,
is she?
but
Is my question.
not terribly far, and even before that, you would first notice the fact that what's her face, Ikio is following quite closely behind you. A It would be enough that you'd immediately be cued in that she at least was following, and even a cursory look back would suggest that everybody is now following you. So they must have decided to abandon the turbolift plan.
Okay. Jenkins notices that the captain's in the back again, and she's just being so creepy.
I'm just relaxed.
You are
As
not.
As any
You-
composed captain
you are
should
not.
be. As any composed captain
Whoever
should
taught
be.
you that. All right. So catching wind of this shit that she's spewing, not Captain Jenkins turns around and stops for a minute and just looks at her. Who taught you to captain? Was it your mom? Is that why you talk like that?
My mentors.
All sweetness and condescension.
Sweetness.
Nobody
and
talks like that.
condescension. Sweetness and condescension. I have not been
Do
condescending.
you hear yourself? You have been condescending in every phrase, every word. It is dripping with it.
I think
More than
that's
that pad
coming from
and the blood on it.
You mean in a state of emergency such as this, where the uh, malignant and maleficent admirals have been constantly in the way, you don't think that I would have to fight or perhaps get into some sort of violence in order to try to pursue them?
It's not that. It's the way everything you do is done. Not
No.
one thing has been right about you since you got here. Even now, the way you speak to me. Ugh. I don't want you near me.
All right. I'm
Is this because the captain called
Jenkins
you
gonna
uninteresting?
No. Although she's wrong about that, and I think you should take note. But no. I've been called uninteresting, unattractive, and every name under the sun.
I'm going to position myself so I can easily step in between the two of them if necessary.
I mean, you are there, given that literally all of you are between Jenkins and Eris.
look,
Yes, but he's stepping especially between us.
look, I've been to the academy and been a capable captain as much as anybody else.
Okay, first off, was that an actual slip, or did you say that on purpose?
Was that a character in character?
Yeah, was you saying lieutenant an accident, or
Yeah.
I'm asking out of character?
That was in character.
Son of a bitch. All right. Jenkins notices immediately. Lieutenant, huh? You're a lieutenant captain? Are there a lot of lieutenant captains in your dimension?
Are there a lot of grouchy chiefs such as you?
Oh, we are flush with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you got a good point there.
I love how everyone had to go, yeah. They're chiefs.
She just takes off the 2 pips. Never saw much fun in captain anyways.
Oh, no. I mean, surely not the way you've been parading as one for a while now.
I want to give it a shot. She just tosses them.
Yeah, and how long before you came here were you wearing those extra 2 pips?
2, 3 minutes.
Hmm. Interesting.
You were the first that I've met in a while. I was speaking the truth, though. I am after a admiral.
Yeah, I get the feeling we all are. You're not special in that regard.
Didn't think I was. And I do
You
have
clearly do.
I do have access to the turbolift, so I'm useful.
Yeah, we all do now, though, so that little edge you've got going doesn't exactly work for me right now. Try again, sweetheart.
If you think you can do this all on your lonesome. But I've been
Oh
doing
no, I'm not planning on it.
I would advise caution because as quickly as they gave us that advantage, they can easily take it away. I'd imagine.
gestures to Kara with a nod.
I think our Vulcan friend can agree with me in saying I think you guys are letting your emotions get the better of you. We need as
You're an
many allies
Andorian.
as
You
we
live on
can.
emotion.
I've been around enough humans before to know that it's best to just let their emotions play out. They're like Klingons in the heat of, well, passion.
No.
She just laughs with a like full-on teeth-wide smile.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go elsewhere. You were not invited on my sidebar.
Are you implying you are not human?
No, I'm human. I just find the comment of calling us Klingons in the heat of passion a bit funny. And I think we're running out of time, given the fact the Admiral is working as we speak to, take us in the direction that'd be most unfortunate. With, the ship also in the process of reaching Klingon space. Don't want that, do we?
Well, given that we're so short on hours, minutes, whatever, maybe you should work the other angle on the other side of this very large hallway. And we'll go to the bar.
Why are we going to the bar?
You were not invited, but you are coming along.
Pretty sure if
We are
we're in
going to the bar for reasons.
if we're in the rec room, there's probably a bar over, and I point towards the weights.
Yep.
Are we going to put in some
Oh,
sets?
Joe.
Because we're putting in some sets because I'm pretty sure the Admiral takes precedence over exercise at this point.
All right, well,
Kara, you're going with the captain. I mean, the lieutenant.
look how quickly he seems to give up on you, the lot of you. I'm just gonna go off.
And look how quickly she tries to turn it to her advantage.
She just shakes her head. You're right. I'm gonna go off and try to find my way up to go meet the Admiral by using the turbolift access. And anybody else want to come along? They can come along.
What rank are you, Takara? Or not Takara? Jenkins.
Jenkins is a
I am a chief, so I have like no rank.
Oh.
I'm just pissed.
Yeah.
I think we need to be productive, and if we are going to go to the Admiral, I think we need weapons. And seeing as how he can't really teleport us anymore.
For now. He can't teleport us for now. We need further access.
Yeah. To clarify, with the access you currently have, if you trip up another security system by trying to, say, access the primary systems without high enough levels of access, the Admiral could still activate a stasis field or attempt to transport you somewhere. You currently have access that would hold on. You currently have access that would allow you to bypass like environmental hazards or prevent those from happening. Also to access the turbo lifts. The next one that you would likely be able to access with the current level of encryption would be access to sorry, apparently the GM needs to hydrate and is having coughing fits off the mic. Um, I'll put in for that without the spend. But basically, the next level of encryption could give you armory access effectively. Hello?
Nope, we're here.
Yeah,
Alright.
sorry. Yeah.
And
So-
how do we access it? The encryption? I'm sorry.
Yeah, how do we further
Only
decrypt
accessing it through the.
Well,
That-
We
a
can
good
always
question.
spend momentum to
I was going.
get a clue.
Yeah, I was going to say, as with the last time, you found that there was like a very particular isolinear node, since the ship just started using isolinear computer systems. There was a particular node in the room that you could figure out, or that you could access in order to gain the necessary bit of coding. In the holodecks case, you were able to access it by going through there and activating the the holodeck system. I know that's been a little while, so I think we may have just lost the thread a little bit. In order to do it in this case, Jenkins, I'm going to say that your earlier spend did give you a sense, or I'll say this with a quick, more casual interaction with the computer system, you gain the sense that it appears that there is a similar, like, potentially compromised node in the 0G exercise room, or the 0G activity room.
Okay. God. I wish I could convey shit easy and be good at it, but I'm not. So we're just gonna say I conveyed that shit to Ikeo and maybe Mockman. I don't know. Mockman seems like they would cave.
I mean,
if,
we're all in the
like-
same area.
Oh yeah,
I know, but I'm being very quiet to not you. Like everyone close to me, I'm talking to, but not you. Hush whispers over here.
Bachman would absolutely cave.
Yeah, I don't
Anson
think he could
Mockman,
handle a
what-
dirty look.
Anson Mockman, I didn't hear that. Could you perhaps reiterate for me, please?
What?
Versus hand slaps over Mockman's mouth and he pulls him backwards.
Now, who's being the violent one?
Jenkins, it's the first time he actually flashes teeth back at you, other than the very initial attempt to seduce.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you'd know more about that than I would. We are in a hurry, are we not? On your way. And he walks backwards with the Ikeo and Mockman.
Yep.
Hopefully Takara will follow, even though he did banish him to you.
Yeah. Takara, are you going to, or are you going to walk with Jenkins?
Yeah, so far I trust them more than I trust the other guy, the captain at this point. So
Okay. Eris, do you just take a seat at the bar or one of the other rec areas then?
I'll grab something at the bar and wait a bit, and
Yep.
then stealth my way and follow them.
Okay. Well, we'll...
Just enough where I can get good earshot, and if not, I'll just hack the local communication to freaking hear them.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I don't like how good she is. Damn it.
Yeah, you just tap the communicator again to override Dennis's communicator, which was explicitly linked to yours. Either that or Ikio's.
No, I'll do Ikeo's.
Yep.
Ikeo seems like a nice little puppy.
Okay. So, yeah, you approach the zero-G rec room, where you see Eris is well across the room, sitting down, or probably topping over the bar at this point to get into one of the bottles that are stocked on the wall. Apparently,
Yep.
the bartender was at least cared for on this first mission.
You will notice that she pretty much like flips, kind of just like a ballerina sort of rolls over the bar top, like a gymnast, more or less, I guess.
Yep.
She's fit.
So,
And I'll just grab a. What do you got? Andorian ale, Romulan ale,
there-
Saurian brandy.
there's definitely some Saurian brandy there. Probably a few bottles of champagne from the opening voyage. I believe a Zenketh aperitif as well.
Ooh, I'll try that.
Yeah.
If this is nearing Enterprise C era, have we crossed the Synthahol threshold yet?
I think this first voyage they'd have the good stuff. Not that Takara would care. Anyway, so over by the zero G door with Eris well away from you, Jenkins, you have your little baby officers hostage, or possibly much older in Takara's case, because Vulcans have that extended life expectancy. And you know that there's basically a computer terminal you can access in the other end of the zero G like recreation area that would give you the next level of access. That is to get you the phasers.
All right, children. I'm only going to say this once. You're going to follow me. Do not talk to her. We do not trust her. Clear?
Yes,
I just-
Chief.
I just don't get it.
Thank you. What don't you get?
Hasn't done anything bad.
Kind of lied to us.
She lied to us. She's established that we cannot trust her. She's masquerading as a captain, giving orders that were not her to give. Yes, I'm giving you orders, but I never told you I was anything different than I was.
Maybe she was just bored.
Yeah, that's not really a good excuse. We're all bored. We work on a starship. Guys, I'll be right back. I'm sorry. Give me a second.
Fair enough.
I'm just enjoying my drink and just like I have my booted legs kind of kicked back on a table, relaxing.
Fair enough. Well, while Jenkins is casting a curious, or rather a suspicious eye in Eris's direction, say that at this point everything's relayed to you, so you know that you're going to have to access this chamber here. Would any of you like to try and take a start on it?
Yes.
Okay, Ikeo, you go to the Elcar's panel and try to open the doors. The channel, or rather the system, says that it will allow access but require activation. Furthermore, I'm going to give you guys, and I'll repeat this for Ray's purpose, the node is an area that can only be effectively accessed while the room is in 0G. So it will complicate, or rather, it will require you to basically have the chamber active.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Turn it on.
All right. So you activate the 0G chamber and open the door. Before you appears to be, against the backdrop of the walls, a star field, more or less. One would think that if you were just going off the look, you could at first mistake it for the vacuum of space. But there are a couple things that tip you off to the obvious fact it is a room, specifically the unusual angles you can make out, distortions in the corners of the rooms where it contours the obvious sites of areas that one could grasp onto. An entrance, or rather a hatch that seems to be at one end of the room that might be like an alcoving one would transit across this area in order to get to where perhaps if this were played competitively, it might even be a functional basing area. There are, of course, a set of objects stationed out in all manner of different colors at varying distances. So, to give you all a visual of what we are looking at here, let's try this on for size.
And we have to get to the hatch.
Yep. So, as you glance out, you first take note that if any of you dip dip one of your limbs out past that, there is an unusual sensation as it passes beyond the arch of the doorway. The limb is no longer tethered by gravity within there, so it's you can tell the null gravity field is definitely working here.
I do a light push off, trying to head towards this. Right there.
Okay. Give me a control plus con roll with a difficulty of 1.
Oh man, here we go. Oh wow.
Okay, yep. You carefully modulate your step and allow your feet to go off the platform, crossing off from the threshold and firmly entering 0G. You give it a sufficiently gentle push push off as you depart the door, that you drift slowly to these tanned spherical objects, which are indeed the nearest ones to you. You are able to pretty effortlessly land and gain a grasp on it without feeling like it's too hard of an impact. This is a simple short jaunt.
I'm gonna reach out my hand for whoever jumps next to help them onto it.
Okay. Whom would like to try next?
I'll try.
Okay, Dennis. Are you aiming for the same one that Ikkio's attached to?
Yeah.
All
So I
right.
use my physics focus to help.
I love it. I love it. Yep. Control plus con, and you may use physics to assist you as a focus. Another 2 successes on the board. So that gets you out to that level. And let's go ahead for the benefit of the players here and for our audience at home. Let's start putting people on the board. So just to check, you were going for this bottom one here?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure that I was placing you folks on the right one here. So I'd say that this is comfortable, or it's comfortably large enough that probably 3 of you could use it as could be completely behind the obstacle. All of you, including Eris, if she were to show up, would be able to at least have a handhold on it and not be at risk of making contact. I'm sure that if it got to that situation, Jenkins would be perfectly happy with that situation. But yeah.
So wait, I'm sorry. What's it? I blanked on the rules of this thing. So what's going on here with these orbs? Is this
So-
some program I'm more aware of, or
Let's see. Above board, I will say the GM might have Ender's Gamed this whole thing.
I fucking knew it.
And I'll go ahead and say I have been sitting on this puzzle idea for like 5 years.
longer than that? It's like 7 now.
Yeah, I
You've
guess.
you've been fueling this thing for a while.
Yeah.
I remember the appearance of this. I just don't remember the rules.
Basically, you have so your objective is to make it to the hatch where Jenkins has told you that there is a specific like node that he can access in order to gain that bit of basically gain the next level of code that you would need that will grant you access to the armory. I'll say in particular, while most of you would probably be competent enough to do this, Jenkins would be the best candidate given the ease with which he can interact with the computer system. I will also say that depending on how far you try to go down the room, the difficulty of your task will increase. This is going to be either control or con, depending upon the circumstances here. So you are at like the first level, the tan orb level, let's call it, or this is closest to the exit or entrance rather. The mid level would be the like very light teal orbs that are slightly smaller on your screen right now. And then the furthest out level before the hatch would be the red orbs.
Right. Okay.
About how far away is this one from this one?
I'd say there's the space of what is effectively a zone, roughly the distance between this door to the orb you are on to the door that you came through. Before you do anything, though, I will ask Takara, did you want to come out and join them as of yet? So I want to make sure everybody has a chance to do something.
This is highly illogical, and I'm trying to analyze everything, so I'll stay back a little bit.
Okay, so Takara passes for a moment, and Eris is obviously out of the scene.
For the moment.
Yeah. Jenkins, I don't know, or Ray, I don't know if you're back yet, but if you are, just leave your text wishes if you wish to proceed in. Until then, we will let Dennis and Ikio act here for a moment.
Would you say the distance between is about farther than 10 feet?
Probably a little further, yes.
Okay.
Is this zone with gravity or is it still 0G?
It is entirely 0G. If you were operating off of like if you were operating off the reference point, basically this whole room is it is like a large cubed room. The alcove that you came through opens up like halfway up that level at sufficient distance to where if there were gravity, you would want ladders to climb. So it's meant to allow people to maneuver. I mean, once again, basically just an Ender's Game situation. Enemy's gate is down. Like there are handholds on the walls if you were to try and climb across it. It's all 0G up until you cross through the thresholds of the doors on either end.
Right. All right.
Well, I'm going to try and go for the next one.
Okay. That will be then a difficult, or one more difficulty 1 control con, please.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Would you like to succeed at cost there?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. So you make your way on that next one. You find that um, your initial angle is slightly off, but you just manage to reorient in such a way that you believe you should be able to basically kind of orient yourself slightly, like with a different spin, or you kind of somersault a little, get the momentum going to where you can move that way. Um, as you do that, however, let's see here, just make sure I have the correct one. Stand by. Oh, you hear reverberating throughout the room. Commencing round 1.
Eh?
What?
What? Eh?
Training exercise in proper mode. And so as you advance down and you manage to reorient yourself like through somersaults here, Ikkyo, you find now that you see at the edge of the room what appear to be small little, some sort of small devices emanating from near the hatch. So I'm going to, let's see, just put them at the furthest distance here. You see some ways away just make them visible, would appear to be a set of drones popping out.
Uh-oh. Dennis, stay behind the moon thing. And exercise?
Let's see. Command not recognized.
Help command?
Let's see. Yes, help computer. Help system engaged. Inquiry. All inquiries on rules may be posited to computer system.
How do I play?
Rules of engagement apply as follows. For opposing, rather, player team is to advance to alternate alcove in order to engage with, in order to secure objective. Once objective is secure, automated defenses or other opposing team is forced to disengage. As note, phasers must be set at low stun setting in order to be proper tournament match.
Help, no phasers?
Query not recognized.
What's the objective? I think I missed something.
I
have no idea what's going on, actually.
Well,
Yep.
you have to get
It's
to the other,
gone the whole time.
you have to get to the other side for the defense lasers to turn off.
Yep.
Right.
Basically, as I was admitting readily to everybody, I've made an Ender's Game situation. So you are trying to cross this 0G room, basically, and there are automated basically automated drones in the room with you. Ikkyo has advanced further down the room, and Dennis is behind one of them, I was going to ask you what you wanted to do next, or whether you wanted to
Oh,
cross the
would my
threshold.
scrambler do anything for me in this particular situation?
It would make you a little harder to hit.
God damn it, that is just not very good. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. I need to see what I have. Okay. Is there any way to an attempt in... No, I don't think there is. God damn it.
Gonna make Dennis a little larger just because we're a bit closer in on this one.
Don't reveal the 5
Okay. Um. All right. So you guys have determined there's no way to shut this off.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. So we haven't actually checked to see if we can shut this off.
I asked to turn it off. It said no.
Are we in a holodeck? I'm assuming we are.
This is a 0G recreation room.
Oh shit.
It's
Okay, yeah, you just
it's
said
a
that. I'm
different
sorry.
thing.
Yeah, you just said that. I'm sorry. And you guys have already tried to reestablish gravity.
If they did that, then Dennis and Ikkyo would plunge a sufficient distance to injure themselves, and you would not be able to reach the hatch where your objective is located, specifically the node.
Oh, God damn it. All right, fine. I'm gonna roll to activate my jammer and see if I can't just freaking get out of this shit.
Okay, are you crossing the threshold to join them as well?
I am, yes.
All
We'll be
right.
doing that. What would I roll for this?
That would be, let's see. The question is, how far are you wanting to go? There are basically, between you and at the threshold of the door and the hatch on the other end, there are basically 4 zones between you and that hatch. The first zone is where Dennis is on the nearest set of the like tan planetoid-like objects. Ikkyo is at an additional zone away from that, kind of in the middle section, on along with the teal objects. On the red section, that would be the next zone out, and then the hatch is just past that, and that is where the drones currently are.
So I have a feeling with each each level you're gonna add an extra. I have to beat a certain amount.
So, yes, if you attempt to go from where you are right now, then that would require that sort of thing. It's also a question of how you are maneuvering. So, like a simple jaunt, while just easily out of engagement for the drones, would be control plus con, basically.
Okay.
You might, if you try to go further out, or if you try to do something especially brash, for one thing, difficulty will probably increase, and depending on the nature of the maneuver, it may switch to daring instead of con.
Okay. Look here. All right. I'm gonna try and get to zone 2 if possible. And I do want to see if I can't bound off of, like, we're starting at the floor, the hatch is at the top, right?
Um,
Or
I
we
mean,
just floated into the room.
yeah, the door basically it comes in like right at it comes in midway through the room or at the very center. It's basically a giant cubed room, as I was telling the others. And so you come in like midway through. Um, there are also handholds you could grab on what is effectively your side, or if you want to think about it as the floor, then you could call it like from the floor that you could grab on, so you could climb along the walls as well. Um, Or if you want to think about it, Ender's Gate, you are up relative to their or Ender's Game, you are up relative to their gate, which is down.
You're a huge nerd, and it has been far too long since I've read that book. Um, I guess we'll go through him trying to climb along the walls just because you guys might draw the fire towards you if you keep going through the middle the way you are.
Okay, so this is going to be control and actually, for trying to just move along the walls, I'm going to say that are you trying to like keep tethered like really close in and just climb it like you would a wall or a ladder, or are you trying to are you basically once you get out you try to use that to like propel yourself in 0G down the way and try to move faster along that? If
Give
that
me one
makes
second.
sense.
Let me look at my shit. No, that made perfect sense. I'm just scatterbrained right now because my boss keeps talking to me. Ba, 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 ba.
You should attempt
Yeah,
to
I
focus
guess
your
I'm gonna now listen, that does not work for every scenario, Joe. I'm gonna basically kind of rock climb along the wall looking for any kind of panel I can access. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so
There you go, Zach.
very good. Well, the GM will accept your threat there, and I'll call that an additional 2 momentum to the group as well. And you guys will find out about that in a moment. But real quick, let's see. I guess whilst you are tapping panels, give me a control and let's call this a control plus con to try and navigate along the walls and like tap at just different parts of the room to see if you can find a loose panel that you can access, where you can access the systems here. Okay.
Oh.
Well, you are at least able to move along the handholds, and you're finding yourself with an easy enough time trying to like basically climb along the walls. You're well out of any danger, but it is very slow going, and none of the panels in here seem to be able to give you the type of access that you need.
Real quick, would the I know my ship talent apply to this at all?
Refresh my memory. What would be the applicable, or what would the talent say there?
Whenever you attempt a task to determine the source of a technical problem with your ship, add 1 bonus d20.
In this particular case, I don't think so.
Okay. Oh, so would this count as an engineering task of him trying to find a panel?
I mean, it could, but I think that's kind of a separate task here in a moment. Is the only thing. Yeah, you can try it again
Okay.
in a moment here.
All right.
First, let me give Takara and possibly even Eris a chance to act. So first, I guess Takara, are you now that you've seen drones are activating, uh, Jenkins has made their way in, and everybody's starting to panic. Are you thinking of jumping in yourself?
Yeah, I'll move into the first little area, I guess.
Okay. Are you aiming to join Dennis? Or
Yeah.
okay, just one quick control plus con roll. Okay, so that does get you out on that does get your piece out onto the board as well now, and you manage to land next to Dennis, who, as far as I know, Dennis is just aiming to stay put.
No, I think I was going to start going around.
I gotcha. Do you want to try and move up a zone and go between or go to the mid zone where Ikkyo is, or at least in that layer, or to, um, stay in this kind of general area?
I'm gonna go to this one, this brown.
Okay. I will just give you for free that you are able to move there without much of an issue and start moving around here. Um, Real quick, Eris, are you jumping in just yet, or do you want to hold off a moment more?
I'll go now. Why not?
Fair enough. So, uh, as all of the officers are scattered, and Jenkins, you are getting a handle on the situation and on the next foothold or handhold, trying to locate a panel. Describe what sails out of the threshold.
You guys just hear just a surfs up as she a welded together fusion of chairs and tables to create like at least two layers, but like a full on blast shield about 3 persons in length and about two people in width, as she just sort of just lifts it with zero G and tries to just sail it through the middle behind it, using it as a shield, basically. I'm just gonna sail
Damn it,
right down
she's
the
so
middle.
hot. I hate this.
All right, daring plus con here, and since you are trying to, I need to know where you're trying to take this blast shield, or how far down are you trying to go?
So I'm definitely moving in a way that probably will injure my arms or my legs, but I'm hoping that I did the math. I did the engineering math in my head, and if I get shot at, hopefully the shots will very slowly slow me down, just due from physics. I'm just going right down the middle,
Okay.
in a decent pace, but certainly, and people can jump in with me if they dare so try. But yeah.
Okay. This is going to be a control plus security roll with a
Daring.
daring. You're right. Daring and con roll here with a difficulty of, I think I'm gonna have to kick that up to a 5 just because you are trying to lift and try to get this right down the middle, and you're trying to do so all without like bounding into one of the objects, which would pretty much nullify the blast shield by sending you spinning or anything like that.
Yep. So I'll use my determination, which either Bloodlight and Champions or Rules Insanity is subjective. Choose which one.
Yep. I think one applies.
I'm going to use 3 focus to get 2 extra dice, if you guys don't mind.
3 of the momentum.
Yeah. If you guys don't mind.
No, go for it. I'm curious to see how this is going to play out.
And then
I think I will drop a point of threat just to increase that complication range.
Oh, come on. So, all right, let's do this, because I don't have any focuses that really apply here. Let's go. Yes.
Okay. Jeez. That's
5.
Yep, that is 5 successes. So Eris is just going to immediately sail out with this unwieldy behemoth of a device, and is like going to glide past you, Takara, Dennis, and yes, Jenkins. You curse this because she looks like she's doing the like. There's definitely a crazed look to it, and Yeah, there's probably something hot about it. Um, but it's also
Yes,
like,
and that will go unvoiced.
yep. As she does the, the more that I think about this, I know we'd message back and forth. I think that it's going to be more a resist. Well, I'll slightly increase the difficulty, or give them an increase by
I
one, but
made
I will
I
give you a
made
lot
a
of
whole bunch of
resistance.
successes, so give me whichever you like, my friend.
Yeah, I'll make it more difficult to hit you because they can't get a precise lock, and then even if they do manage to hit the area where you are supposed to be, I'm going to say that there's like, we'll call it 4 challenge dice worth of resistance there. It is an engineering marvel that all of that was whittled together, or like pulled together. I can only imagine the number of EPS like cables that have been torn up and were like used to create plasma burns on the furniture.
Yep.
Putting that scalpel
Yeah,
to
that
use.
was going to be a question, but I'm glad you answered it.
Yep.
I also have alcohol, potent alcohol, and other chemicals.
Yep. The whole wreck area is just a disaster by the time you get in or get back. But yes, as you sail down effortlessly, one of the training drones is going to be like on an intercept course, and they are going to take a shot at you with control plus security. Let's see. Oh, that is control plus security. Stand by. Oh, come on. Yeah, let's try that again there. Okay. Well, that is not quite enough to actually properly hit you there. So the blasts will start taking chunks out of like this welded together monstrosity as it just starts firing single bursts. You've got to imagine that the way that it feels like there's damage being like put into this, that's probably a heavier stun than usual. But you still manage to sail right on past, and
She'll be honest to herself. She's expecting it to be on kill.
Yep.
So.
But yeah, so for your turn, you managed to sail all the way down into the red zone, or into that farthest area, which is good in the sense that you technically could be reaching the objective. The problem that you quickly realize now is that as you pass everything and get to the other end, you now have this welded together monstrosity directly in your way, and your back now is facing to the drones.
Yep, I'm just going to crawl on the other side of that thing.
That's going to be a task right there, is the problem. Yep. So you have a, let's see, I think technically only one of the drones has taken their turn as well, so I do think they're going to get another chance to strike in here.
Go for it.
So, nope, but it's going to not angle properly, and it is not going to take you out here. So I think that at this point, with everybody having taken a turn, let's reset the order. Let's play this a little more straight to how we have the game working here. So player's turn. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. Why not?
All right, let's get a little closer in. Go down to the red zone here. Stand by just one moment. Okay, so we have Greystoke, we have the drones. And okay, the turn order is over to, turn order's on your side, so let's for the fun of it, I'm going to say that we're gonna go really low tech on this one, I know, but this grayish blob is your welded together monstrosity.
Excellent. I'm going to. How close are the drones to me and my vessel?
They are
I
within.
call it the USS Curmudgeon.
Yes, finally, a real captain of a ship.
Yep.
Um, they're in close distance, so they are probably just shy of like what would be melee range. They're in effectively the same zone as you.
Cool. Can I? So I'm still. I'm slowing down, thankfully, because I've been shot at. Right.
Mhm.
Still probably gonna hurt. Right. If I
Definitely.
meet the other end.
Definitely, you've not lost enough speed to effectively. You've not lost enough speed to where you are not going to like risk injury from this.
Well,
I will say also, as you get closer, you do realize it looks like the access ports might require more than one of you to actually get through the door.
all right. Well, I know naval tradition is about captain saves the ship, but I just met her. I don't want to be clingy and stick to long-term commitments. So I'm going to abandon ship and wrestle one of these drones.
Okay, that's going to be daring plus con to ram them, or maybe even, I dare say, a daring and security roll, which they aren't directly able to contest necessarily, but I am going to increase your difficulty because you are trying to do zero-G combat.
Could I also do damage while I'm trying to grab this thing?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to use my first focus there.
Very well.
GM.
Yep.
That apply?
Definitely.
Cool. Let's do this.
You can totally.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, we've got a complication there. Do you wish to buy that off with momentum, accept, or rather ignore it and allow the GM to take threat, or would you prefer to accept a narrative complication?
We do narrative complications around these parts.
What we do in his house.
Yeah, let's do narrative complication.
Okay. Greystoke, you prepare to launch off, but you find that as you give it the full force of getting ready to push off and like get your scalpel ready, before you can get to that, you find that the exceptional pain of your ankle hooking onto an errant chair leg and twisting it horribly. You've not heard that crunch today, but man, you've heard a crunch like that before, and it is, for one, definitely painful. It's a good thing you don't have to walk at the moment. But I am going to say that is going to send you careening off course and knocking into one of the basically one of the red objects. And I'm going to ask you to roll 4 challenge dice to reflect basically points of stress that you will take.
Oh no.
So you take 3 points of stress.
Ow. Okay.
Yep. So Greystoke's crowning moment of glory quickly recesses into quite the fustercluck. So, going back to that, the drones are well, one of them, seeing you like immediately present, is going to attempt to take another shot that you are now that you're no longer behind the other object there.
Got too ambitious.
Yep,
Yep.
you abandon the curmudgeon, and with that,
It betrayed me, that bastard. I'm gonna kill it.
you're going to kill that that welded together quote unquote ship dead.
I'm gonna sink it. I'm gonna sink it when I'm done with this.
Yep. The stun blast grazes off just shy of where you were, quickly tempering your vaulting ambition. With that, the rest of you that were on the other end of the, still on the other end of the room, try to, well, the turn order now goes back to you. So, who would like to act next?
What kind of action would it be to ask the computer a question?
A free action.
Computer, do I have to touch it to end the game or go inside of it?
Entry into gated area is necessary. Specific access can be arranged when two or more of the opposing team simultaneously access the entry nodes and permit a third member to transit the threshold.
Oh man.
They're free actions, right?
Um,
Talking, computer.
Yes.
Computer. I switch teams to red team.
Oh, jeez. The match commands not recognized. Match parameters set.
All right, continue on with your turn. Sorry.
Lower difficulty?
Difficulty may not be revised during within set match. Please consult your local systems referee for override or operations management.
Oh, I think I got it. Medical emergency.
For medical emergency, please call please stage call to sick bay and request emergency medical team.
Damn. Alright, then there's only one thing we can do.
You could have sailed the ship. Why didn't you? She says.
Not a pilot. I'm gonna jump on over behind this red one. Right here.
Okay, let me take one more look at that here. I was just prepping something here, and I realized I didn't actually put you guys on the proper layer. Or, well, I didn't put, yeah. Anyway, it's its own thing. Click that for me one more time there, Ikio.
This one?
Okay. Then I will ask you for a... I think that since this is a little bit more under potential fire here, that will be a daring plus con roll.
All right.
It will still be a difficulty one because you are just moving from zone to zone. All right. With 2 successes, you do gain 1 point of momentum back. Eris, go ahead and draw at your leisure. But yeah, you manage to quickly leap down and advance one more layer, or one more zone. However, as you do so, the drones have taken notice of your advance as well, and one of them is now moving in your direction. You are partly behind it, or partly behind the red sphere, so it will give you some resistance to this blast, but it still has a clear enough line to make a difficulty 2 attack.
Oof.
Oh, and that is 3 successes there. So that will hit, and that will give me a point of threat back. Let's try that stunt gun mount.
You're
Oh,
gone.
jeez. Yeah, that is a non-lethal. That would be a non-lethal injury. And what is this here? What is this jank in your chain person spending a create player advantage? Surely that's not a player in in the current game trying to spend to gain advantage in the game.
To be fair, said player has left for the moment.
That's fair. In that case, I'll grant it here. But first, I will ask: would you elect to resist the injury, or rather, ignore the injury here, Ikio?
Yeah, I think I want to ignore that injury.
All right, you can do so for 2 points of momentum, or you may spend your determination.
Uh, I'd have to use a value to do a determination, right?
Yes.
You would.
They do not work here.
Mm.
Is it okay if I use the 2 momentum?
Sure.
I'm gonna do that so I
If
don't
that's
get
fine with
hurt.
everybody else, the remaining players. Guys.
Feel free.
Yep. All
Be selfish.
right. Let's see. So, Ikio, the world spins for a moment and colors change a little as you try to regain your composure. You got hit by a glancing blast, but you land right against the red sphere. As you do so, the way you land is actually like with your back against it, so you get a look back the way you came. You notice that amidst some of that flashing, Chief Jenkins has disappeared once again. Alas, the timeline is, or rather, space-time continuum continues to screw with you.
And I did take 7 stress, right?
You did.
Okay.
All right. With that, uh, either Takara or Dennis may act now. It is your guys' turn.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna try and move down to this orb.
I see, I see. Well, between Ikio and Eris pulling aggro on this right now, you are able to advance without or without being under fire necessarily. So, simple control con difficulty 1 to advance.
All right, let's go.
Okay, and
Orb.
yep, that is enough to get you down 1 more layer. You are able to drift along. Your strategy of maneuvering around and trying to avoid them seems to be working sensibly enough.
Not of anything of my doing.
Yep. Takara, you are up next.
All right. I yell red alert. No. I'm gonna try to get to this white one there.
Okay. Same control con here. Once again, just difficulty 1. Okay. So you likewise manage to advance down and are at a slightly further distance. Now, actually, since the position's changed, I'm going to change the layer that we are in here. So let's just fix that up. All right, so that should look something like this now. Okay, and with that, the turn order has reset, so all of you are back to, or we are back to the top of the list now. Everyone is capable of acting, as it were, and the players, of course, get the first initiative. So, who among you would like to go first?
Hmm. I'm going to use my 1 foot and try to grab this stupid thing again.
Okay. You launch off in that general direction. I'm going to say, give me a give me another daring plus con, and I will say that once again happens at a difficulty of 2.
All right, all right. I sadly don't have bold con, so let's just roll this. Actually, I think it oopsed. No, that was not an oops. That was an actual solid 20. All right. 2.
Yes, that one focus comes into play
Yep.
as you make contact with the drone. Describe to us how you deal damage.
I as soon as I go up to grab it, it looks like I'm trying to hold it before I just you see like initially grabbing the scalpel and trying to stab it with the scalpel, but that doesn't work and it breaks. And I just instead just use my hands and literally like tear open a plating of it and start stuffing my hand in there to just rip it out like a cat trying to enjoy the guts of a rat.
Oh dear, oh dear. Go ahead and I guess um, roll me damage on an unarmed strike, I suppose.
Only 2? All right.
Well, yeah, because you only have a security of 1, and it's only like 1 damage there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Dang,
Say again?
dang, we were afraid of being bludgeoned to death in a turbo lift.
Well,
I might have more than that, but yeah.
yeah. So you give up on the scalpel, and you just go for trying to tear this thing open, which you do manage to at least like jimmy a panel open just a little bit, and like try to knock around at some of the cables and such. When it seems like it's maneuvering just a little erratically to shake you off, you give it a firm shove and send yourself basically back to this red area.
Can I cling onto it instead?
Uh,
That's what I was trying
we
to do. Was cling onto it and start just
okay,
ripping it.
basically, yeah. I'll allow you to grapple forward and basically you knock against the wall with it. Um, it can't really be prone where there's no gravity, I suppose.
Yeah.
Let's see. For its part, it will try to shake you off with we'll call this a fitness plus con roll to navigate, and try to move in a very erratic fashion. It will have a base difficulty of 2 in order to break through this.
Can I do I is it a contested roll or is it just
Let me double check the grapple rules here because I think that it is usually just a.
because if it's grapple rolls, I will totally throw down with fitness and con.
Yes. Sorry, let me just double check the. I'm going to have to break open the Klingon rulebook because the compendium that I have on Roll20 doesn't actually give those specific options. Yeah. And for those at all curious, the Modifius some ways back had not only released they released basically a standard core rulebook that is meant to be played from a Federation perspective. They also, however, have a book that was released for the Klingon empires, or for characters that are on a more Klingon-centric game, like our, like our Broken Sword game. And of course, you know where to check all of that out with the simple command !Modifius. All that said, it does appear that it is a flat roll to break out.
Boo. All right. Shame.
Let's see here. So, quick roll there. Oh, that is actually your character sheet. I don't know why I had that pulled up.
Mm-hmm.
The GM's just getting all turned around here. Okay.
Aw.
It just manages to shake you loose. To be fair, it was after a few good spins that were probably pushing what would have been safety regs for a machine like that to test itself at that distance. But yeah. That being said, I will also say, and this is for everybody's general benefit here. There is an advantage on the board that was created by our departing Jenkins player after I'd missed them leaving. So it doesn't have to be specific. Well, if you guys want to talk a little above board too, then you're welcome to sort that out.
How about outdated drones? You guys?
Outdated?
Yeah, just a little more difficult. A little difficult for them. A little slower, a little inaccurate.
Would be. I can see it.
What do you guys think? What do the rest of everything?
Yeah. Everybody also got
Cheesy.
other ideas
down.
on the board too.
I'm cool with outdated drones.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, outdated drones.
Okay. You know, I'll let that apply retroactively and say that the difficulty, or like it, the thrusters weren't quite as capable, so you can continue to grapple the drone.
Nice.
So, with that, turn order goes back to you guys now. Who would like to move next?
How big are the drones?
They are probably slightly larger than your standard lunchbox.
Awesome. I'm gonna. What action would it be to take my shirt off?
A minor action?
Okay. I'm gonna take my shirt off and I'm gonna jump towards this one and try to cover it up with my shirt.
Nice.
Okay. So you pull off the skin tight the skin tight TNG season 1 uniform. I'm sure that there's still something ranging from the I don't know, the Enterprise era blue things to the like blue general undergarments, or maybe it's the tank tops that exist by like DS9 era, but
Tank top.
copy that. You roll in, and this will be a daring plus con roll with a difficulty of 2.
Could I use security maybe?
I've been letting everybody use con to this point, but let's see. I will accept conditionally, and that condition is a cost in a single point of threat.
I accept your terms.
Yes. Pleasure doing business.
I gotta fucking deal with the devil every time I play this game. Alright, here we go.
Nice. That is 3 successes. So that will give you back a point of momentum. Panda, draw at your leisure. and you are able to likewise grapple it. You have now also placed the placed the shirt over it, so its visual sensors are somewhat impaired.
Can I close the bottom of the shirt?
I mean, you can like try to kind of pull it and hold it shut, but the piece is not meant to obviously like it's designed to have holes where one's waist and head would come through. So like unless you tie it in a knot here, that'd probably be a task of its own in order to affect that.
Oh no, I'm just covering the bottom part because that's the biggest hole.
I gotcha. So I think that I will rule that in order to effectively tie that up, that is going to be a what is it? That's honestly going to have to be a separate task here.
Gotcha.
So what are the guys doing?
Yep. Well, I think the drone does have the opportunity to try and break out itself here, so I'm going to see if it is able to do that. Call this fitness plus con difficulty 3 to maneuver out. Nope. All right. So yeah, now Dennis, Takara, the turn is yours, and you see that Ikio and Eris are both trying to grapple with the drones here.
And this thing is a door, right?
Yes, that is the hatchway that two of you need to be on like ends of it in order to access the in order to basically activate the hatchway, and a third person needs to go through.
There's also a freaking blast shield right now, or
Yeah.
makeshift blast shield, still sailing its way, or probably bounced off by now.
Yeah. It's slightly in your way. I'll put up what I meant to from earlier.
USS Curmudgeon.
I think this is we pop determinations and we both go for that fucking door.
Yeah.
Kind of what I was thinking, but they've got the drone, so one of them would have to give up a drone to come over to us to help us.
I mean, we got the drones. You guys can sail in any direction you so like, so long as, we hold the drones for now.
Yeah, I think it only needs 2 people on the door.
Yep. So if two of you were able to get to the doors, then one of them, if they're able to disengage just long enough, then they can grant a third person the time to get through.
Okay. I'll head to the door, Dennis, unless you want to go.
What's difficulty?
So you are 2 zones away, and while you are having to sail past like the 2 that are grappling with the drones. They might not be directly able to aim at you, but there's still like the possibility they could get off an errant shot. So I'm going to say this is daring plus con with a difficulty of 3.
God.
Could I jump here to assist, kind of to reach out for him?
So, like, try to, wait, are you guys basically trying to, were you trying to jump down there so that he can fly by and then you can kind of catch him and give him a boost and maybe hook onto that?
Yeah, to make it easier.
I'll tell you what, let's make this a little simpler. How about we slightly up the difficulty on that roll? It'll be a 4, and we have you go together with one of you on the assist.
I see.
You have a point of momentum to use as well, so whoever leads can roll 3 dice. You can also pull threat.
You've got the higher difficulty, so why don't you lead and then I'll assist?
What's your daring con?
Daring con is 10. Control con is 12.
We have the same daring con.
Yep, and that's going to be for both of you, daring plus con.
Our control, it's the same, 12 and 10 either way for either of us.
You can pop your values.
Yep. Let's see. Damn, I gotta figure out how I can twist one of my values for this.
Well, Takara, do you feel like you'd have anything relevant here?
Potential is within. That's the only one that would.
How about I can be happy in my room. I want to get the fuck out of here.
Goddamn, that's pretty good.
Starfleet has its place in the galaxy. It must be protected. We're trying. I mean, we're kind of trying to.
That would also work. It does sound like either way you would have an applicable value to tap. So it depends on who's feeling lucky if you have like a particular applicable focus on this.
I do have a focus because you let me use my physics. So
That's
Yeah.
true.
all
I have
right,
composure. That's the only focus I would think that would help out with this. But
all right.
we're not really in a stressful situation anymore because of the drones are taken care of.
I mean,
All right.
I'd say it's still pretty stressful, but I think that I do like physics better. I would like it a lot if Dennis would would try to rationalize this plan in character.
All right. Cigar. I look over, and wave at him. We need the post jump while we have the chance.
Your logic is sound. Let's make it happen.
All right. This will be a same daring and con roll. Difficulty is up to 4, but you do get to pop that determination here, Dennis. So you may elect to either take the auto crit now or hold it for a reroll. You do also have momentum.
I will do the auto crit.
Okay.
And let's just spin the momentum since since we'll both succeed anyway since we're doing this together.
Yep.
And so let's go.
Okay.
And then untapped potential. I'll remember to use this.
Oh, refresh my memory. What does untapped potential do?
When I succeed at a task with that, which I bought an extra die with momentum or threat, I roll an effect, a challenge die. I receive bonus momentum equal to the number.
Nice.
Or if I roll an effect, it adds threat. So that is
2 points of momentum back to the pool. And that's 3 successes that you rolled plus the 2 from the auto critical success. The 2 of you clasp hands and you time your jump carefully to where the 2 of you sail on past, using jumping from there and going sort of right down the middle between these orbs, gliding past Ikkyo as she wrestles with one drone, sailing past the improvised welded furniture from the or from other parts of the wreck area, and the 2 of you are able to advance together down to the very back end. You find yourself able to quickly grasp handholds that allow you to that allow you to latch on and start making your way towards the hatch. Takara, I would go so far as to say that since he took lead there, if you want, you can basically help pull him along and just kind of for free get the two of you over to the hatch.
That works.
All right. So
this whole scene's hilarious.
it's great. It really is. Now let's move everybody down into this last layer here.
The ladies fighting enemy machines while the two guys are holding hands flying through the air.
Yes,
We just witnessed a bromance in the making. It was amazing.
it is pretty good. Yeah, no, just the insane grappling, the like the mild for the Berman trekkers at home, the mild titillation of Ikkyo taking off like one layer of her shirt whilst in order to block this thing, and there we go. That moves on past. But yeah, Machman and Takara are both able to make it to the door, and each of you find like a few small areas where there's some exposed buttons in the same Elkar's pattern. You press the button, and with each like point of contact, the computer chimes and says, "Contact registered. Contact registered. Third player clear for entry." And the hatch begins to open wide. The two of you are compelled to stay in place because if one of you attempts to leave the position you are in, it would require removing the hand, unfortunately. So that will have to open the way for one of your other crew members. And at this moment, we are back up the turn order. So
I'm going to jury rig my drone without all its wires strung out and being torn by me. I'm gonna jury rig it to start just firing, and I'm gonna try to use it as a thruster.
I will ask you for a daring plus engineering roll, and I am going to spend a point of threat to increase your complication range by 1.
Cool. Bold.
Oh, in that case, just keep that threat there that you take in, and I'm going to spend an additional 1 to increase your complication range up to 3.
Wow.
How nice.
Jury rigging.
Yep.
And then question.
Fire away.
I have rocks replicators. I own this thing now. It belongs to me because I'm holding it, right?
Not quite. Like it is still actively resisting you. So I still kind of want the roll on the task before I'd let you disassemble it and turn it into the thruster. This is the one.
All right.
If it were if it were just passive and like not trying to resist you, I'd be more amenable to that. That doesn't even require a roll, I think.
Yep. All you're hearing, by the way, for everybody else that's close by her, is like, nope, you're mine now. Stay put. Aw, god damn it.
You did get bold, so you can re-roll.
I'm gonna re-roll it. Only one, but one success.
Okay, with 1 success, it will spark. It will continue to spark and sputter. I'll go ahead and say, roll me 3 challenge dice just to reflect that you are doing more damage to this. I'll take
I don't
the.
think it rolled.
I'll
It
take
didn't
the,
roll very well. Hang on, let me.
Yeah.
Did I roll an extra 1?
go. Yeah, you did roll an extra 1 there. I'll say give me 1 more. Okay, pretty much same difference. So you will do some more damage to the drone that you are dealing with, at least, and that is not quite enough for an injury, but still, its progress. So, yeah. With that, it is going to try and just start shooting off anyway. Well, it'll try to fire its thrusters with one more go to try and break away. No luck.
No.
Though it will have you bounding between the red objects there, and thus kind of circling around. Turn order goes back to you. Dennis and Takara have opened the hatch. Ikkyo, you still have the other drone grappled and caught up in your shirt.
I am going to, since it's still caught up in the shirt, I'm going to use it and place my foot on it and kick off of it towards the hatch, pushing it and me away.
Nice. Give me a daring plus con, difficulty 1.
No!
Oh no!
God damn it.
Can I?
Do you? I forget. Have you spent your determination already?
No, but my values won't apply, I don't think.
You only
give it a
have.
shot.
Give me a bullshit improvised value now because I know for a fact you only have 2.
As I kick off, I say, I promise I'm going to get to that hatch. And I never break a promise, no matter the cost.
There. That's the one. That'll allow you the re-roll.
Good enough. Let's
Please,
go.
give it to me. Can I use my hand-to-hand focus?
Sure. Even if it's more foot to drone. And with 2 successes, you clear the distance and slide your way through the portal, or through the threshold. As you pass through, gravity takes hold and you thud to the ground. You bop your nose again.
Damn it!
But you see there is a blinking button basically ceasing hostilities.
I'm
gotta
going
press
to
the button.
write a strong letter about how we're going to absolutely take this specific recreational activity off of every single ship in existence. When I say stop, I want it to stop.
You gonna press
Which
the
button
button?
am I supposed to press?
There's a big blinking button.
That seems like the one. Press it.
End round 1. And as that signal cuts off, the drones cease their activity. Unfortunately, as they do, there is yet one more sputter from the drone that you are on, Greystoke, and your meddling has gone just a little too far, as it explodes and sends you backwards. There's another great flash of light, and the lieutenant disappears in a burst of light.
Is everybody okay? I heard an explosion.
It's fine.
And with
It's
that,
fine.
I think we're going to call tonight's session. So, thank you everybody for sticking it out tonight through some definite shenanigans. A special thank you, of course, to our good friend and guest, Luckless Panda.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Hope you guys had fun with bringing my character in.
Yeah, we did, Shapeshifter.
Did the drone steal my shirt?
It's still wrapped in it, but the drone is still out there. You may recover your shirt.
Awesome.
Anyway, yeah, this is where we're going to part on the recording for now, so we hope that you enjoyed tonight, and we'll look forward to catching you around. Remember, next week we are running the Q&A session with Broken Sword, so for those of you catching this video live, you still have a few days to get in your questions. For anyone else, feel free to join in our Discord, which, for those of you in the archive, you can place them there as well. Links are in the description. But that is all for now.